lessons to cheer and to guide. Strength for today and bright hopes for tomorrow. Blessings all mine with 10,000 beside. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies we see. All we have needed his hands has provided. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto us.
Thank you, Sister Battle, for that song. And I want to take this opportunity also to thank Table Christ Health Ministries for the invitation and again for this opportunity to share this information that I've accumulated over a few years and just to reinforce what was mentioned in the introduction that, we need to pay attention on, the things that are happening around us as prophecies being fulfilled. And we need to ask ourselves, are we prepared for calamity, natural or man-made? If there was an emergency, an unforeseen emergency to occur, I mean, do you and your family stand in ready and in preparedness? Is it or is it your first instinct to rely on the government for aid? And if so, what if the entire city or district that you live in is completely shut down and government resources are exhausted? What is your plan for that? We have to think about things like that. As Adventists, we believe in end time prophecy, which tells us that things are going to get worse before they get better. So with all the foresight that a long-suffering, merciful God has revealed to us in his word, are we taking heed to that? Are we listening? Are we taking action upon that warning? You know, as was mentioned, calamity after calamity are taking place. We live in a very unique time in Earth's history. You never before have men had to worry about GMO foods. Is our food healthy? Is our water clean? Is the air we breathe clean? And that's on top of the calamities and stuff that are going on in nature. We are being surveilled at every end. Every purchase, every action that we take is being monitored. We are living in a very unique time in Earth's history. So we have to, again, ask ourselves, are we ready? Are we taking heed to what the warning that God has laid out? Even right now, as we sit here and we participate, in this session, there are moves that are being made in darkness that will one day be unleashed upon us, that if we're not ready to respond, then, that can lead to our downfall. So we have a responsibility to do our part. And once we've exhausted all our resources, God promises that he will step in and help us. So there's no need for anxiety if we are prepared for that. Now, I want to just re-highlight also Hebrews 11:7. And when I picked this verse, it highlights an aspect of preparation. For again, I want just to reread it. By in faith, Noah being warned of God, things not seen as yet, he moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by which he condemned the world and became heir of righteousness, which is by faith. So we're told that by faith, Noah being warned of God of things not as yet, not seen as yet. So as God informed Noah of the destruction that would befall the earth, even though Noah probably had never imagined the entire world being destroyed by water, he exercised his faith, for he believed the words of God. And so we have to take the same response. And it says he moved with fear and prepared an ark. So what is one aspect of moving with fear? If we look in the spirit of prophecy, in the book From Eternity Past, chapter 7, it reads, by faith, Noah being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by which he condemned the world and became heir of righteousness, which is by faith. So, and it talks about how all that Noah possessed, he invested in the ark. Everything he had, he invested for his preservation as an act of faith. So every dime Noah had, he allocated it towards his survival. He prioritized and invested for an event that had never been witnessed by the human race before. So today, the same thing applies as in the days of Noah. Sometimes men will mock this message. So common sense tells me that Noah and the other builders of the ark, they had tools, they had instruments that were designed for their survival. Obviously they used tools to cut, tools to measure, tools to secure into place, and knew how to use them. So this is the thing. Even when we're obtaining our items, we are doing things for survival. We need to make sure that we have trained on those things and at a moment's notice that if we have to use those things and put those things into action, that we are already familiar with those items. And the verse continues to say, to the saving of his house. By exhibiting his faith spiritually and practically, Noah saved his house. The same standard applies today. And even, when I think about this, as men being, any men on here being the spiritual guides of your home, we must understand that we must submit ourselves in fear and humility, that we can preserve ourselves and our family. And of course, the same would apply to anybody who's single or any other situation. So, and we continue. And the verse also tells us that by Noah's actions, he condemned the world. So the question is, are you prepared to the best of your capability to survive any kind of natural calamity or flee in an instant and not return as we are instructed in Luke chapter 17, verse 31. So as we see the fulfillment of prophecy taking place all around us, are our actions of spiritual and practical preparation condemning the world, or are those outside of this fold condemning us by their preparation? So we have to think about that. And we're told that Noah became the heir of righteousness. So the question is, are we practicing a faith of things unseen, yet moving with fear spiritually and practically? So again, we're told that Noah invested all that he possessed in the preparation of the ark. So that means that he was 100% committed to heeding the warning given by God to the survival of him and his family. So again, the question is, saints, in these last moments of Earth's history, where do we stand in comparison to Noah? As we go out, we practice evangelism, as we practice medical missionary work, as we preach the end time message, as did Noah, as we highlighted as we highlight in our times of fulfillment of prophecy. Um, where do we stand when it comes to practical preparation, the practical application? So, as per example by Noah, are we ourselves just giving the message, or are we actually taking action behind preparing for the preservation of ourselves and our family? So today, I want to highlight two um, items that I want to want to present to you guys, and I want to show them here. I'm going to share you a screen. And as I talk about these things, I want to allow you to see some of the items that I have here and that you can actually look at them yourself. Okay. So practical preparation. Question is, are you prepared? And I read again as we just start scripture reading here. Hebrews 11:7, by faith Noah being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by which he condemned the world and became the heir of righteousness by faith. So where do you stand on this issue? This is a very, very serious issue that we all must address and we all must think about. So the two things I'm going to highlight, an aspect of food preparation and another more important aspect that has recently become a topic of discussion, chemical or biological face protection. So the first item I want to talk about here is it's called a Firebox Nano. It's a camping stove. And as you can see from the picture, I'm going to show you the actual item here and what it actually looks like. But I want to first highlight the aspects of this actual item here. And you'll see how useful it is that to actually try and to get your hands on this. The description here, of course, it's Firebox Nano. It comes in two types, titanium and stainless steel. They're 3 inches wide and folds down to a ridiculously thin 0.25 inches. So in its proprietary cross-fed fuel delivery system, Nano Stove can bring 2 cups of water to a boil in 3 minutes and 10 seconds. So even with all this power, the Firebox Nano is one of the smallest wood-burning stoves on the market. And so you will see actually how small it is. One of the things you always want to keep in mind when you're getting items that you want to use for survival or you want to use to prepare for any kind of calamity is that you want them to be as light as possible. You always want to, if you have a bag, a to-go bag, a 30-second bag, you want to always make sure as much as you can to keep your items as small as possible and as light as possible. Weight can turn into an issue if you're trying to carry multiple heavy things at one time. So this addresses one of those situations as one of the items that you can have in your bag. And this is what it actually looks like. It's just a diagram of what the actual item looks like, folded, and as when it's actually opened up for use. And I want to list here the advantages and disadvantages of this item. Now, one of of course, the advantages are, that it's multi-versatile. You can use different types of fuel for this actual item, whether or not it's wood. You can use the little gel gas items, or you can use actually hook it up to an actual burner if you have an actual burner. I'll show you that on the next picture. No assembly required because it has a hinge construction. So all you have to do is actually take it out of the box and open it up. You don't have to be trying to slide any pieces together or anything that's going to be time consuming. That this item actually eliminates that process. And of course, it has a cross-fed wood delivery system, which we'll see in a second. And one of the most important things that I oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
We hear you.
Okay.
Yes, brother, we're hearing you.
Okay, I had a notation come up saying I got muted.
But
I
the
didn't know.
slides are too small. The slides are too small to see. They're tiny.
Oh, you can't see this?
What I was saying, the slide is a bit too small and the writing, so they
They're
can't
small.
see it.
Okay,
I don't know if it can be.
zoom in. I can read it. Oh, is that better? Can you see that part?
Yeah, a little better, wider.
Yes, yes,
see
it's
the part of
readable.
it.
It's readable.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'll start again with the advantages. And we're down to the no trace burning. And so what I was mentioning was about actually why this is actually a good item is because say you're in the woods and you want to light a fire, a lot of times you need to go and gather your wood, set your wood burning area, and then get your fire going. So if someone were following you or coming behind you, they could actually track you because they would just tell that there was somebody lit a fire here because all the remnants, the burnt wood, the ashes and everything be left behind. But with this particular item, when you burn it, it has a tray that it goes into and it catches all the ashes. So once you're done cooking, boiling your water, whatever you're doing, you can actually take your ashes, go to another area, dump the ashes away, close it up, and then leave. And no one even know you were there. So that's what the no trace burning actually means. And of course, look at the size, 5 by 5, 9 by 4 by 2, 5 by 1 inches. So you can actually put this in your pocket. So a wood burning stove that actually fits in your pocket. And look at the weight, 0.2 kilograms or 0.44 pounds. Doesn't even weigh a pound. And again, like I mentioned earlier, It's available. You could either get it in titanium and steel, with the titanium being, of course, the more expensive option. Now, what are the disadvantages? What I found out, I've owned this almost 2 years now. And what I'm finding out now, I bought this off of Amazon, and I went on Amazon to look again, and it's no longer there. But so I actually may have to go to the website of the manufacturer to actually find it. And unfortunately, the price is going up. But guess what, Saints? I went on 2 days ago and looked onto the actual site where these are made, and they're actually on sale now, which they were running like $90 a piece for the titanium, and I think it was like 70 something dollars for the stainless steel, but they're all marked down now. So that's in itself a blessing. So I want to show you, I'm going to try and switch back to my camera so I can actually show you the item. So here's what it actually looks like when you actually use it. So you can actually see the tray here, that when you actually are cooking and you actually may have a gas source that you may want to need, that you may want to use, that you can actually use that. You have your windshield here, which is that black piece of cloth there, so when the wind blows, it won't blow out your fire. And if you can look a little bit closer, you can see the two little hinges here that actually hold in place whatever apparatus that you're actually using to form your heat. So as anything you're cooking, or if you wanted to use wood or anything else in there, all your ashes would fall into that little silver container. Once you get done, you would disconnect it, fold it up, put it back into that silver container after it's cooled down, of course. And then you could either put it back in your bag, or you can put it in your pocket and leave. And this next photo is what it actually looks like when you actually have wood in there. And as you can actually see, it has holes on the side. This actual illustration, someone actually took a log and chopped it into 4 pieces and slid it down in the middle, still keeping it within the tray. And as you can see here on the side, it looks like they have some type of grate that they're going to use to do whatever they need to actually do. So as you can see from just its small size and some of these multi-uses that we'll cover, that it's a very popular item now with survivalists, with campers. And as you can see here, this is the cross-fed wood system that we talked about in the advantages, where you'll take your wood and you'll stick it in on both sides and cross-feed it, to where as the fire burns, you can actually have a continuous amount of source for actual heat and everything that goes through. And if you look closely, you can see that the little arms here that you can actually turn them, they're turned inside to fit this, looks like a steel thermos, which I have here that I'm going to show you in a second, to actually where that can actually fit and cook and boil your water. Because one of the things that you also have to think about, you outside of food, one of the most important things that you want to have access to is clean, drinkable water. So if you may not have your water straw, you may not have access while you're in the woods, your water straw may get damaged. You can actually take this out of your pocket, get your water, and use this to boil your water in an instant. It takes less than a second to set this up, and it's so easy to do. It's not complicated process at all, and you can actually meet your needs to actually cook on there. And here's another situation where it's actually being used. Someone actually went and took some twigs and put them on the bottom, and actually can use to cook it that way. And they actually chose to use a piece of aluminum foil on the bottom this time. So you can actually see here how useful this is. So I'm going to I don't know how to actually stop this to where I can go back to my camera. Let me see. I don't know if you guys can see me.
Yes, brother, we're seeing you on camera and we also seeing the slide.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you really quick what it looks like when you actually get the item here. It comes in a box like this, firebox. And so you see how small it is in comparison to my hand. You can actually fit this inside your bag. And I said inside your pocket. If you have any type of mini, if you got any type of cargo pants on, you can actually put this inside your pants pocket and don't actually have to worry about even putting it in your bag, and save space in your bag and your get out bag for something else. Once you take it out, This is what it looks like. And this one's been used. I've already taken it out to test it out to see if it actually meets the criteria that it claims. So, and you open it up, you put the piece down in the middle, and it locks. And then once that happens, you can actually use the bottom part of this and it will set inside here. Now, what I was talking about earlier from the photos, the arms or the legs actually, the carrying case is actually cut out to fit the legs of this item. So as you can see, the arms are turned inward. So right here, I have my thermos. It would sit down on here, and I can actually cook whatever I want to cook inside of my thermos or boil my water or whatever. Now, one of the other good things about this too is that you can actually take these arms and tilt them to the outside. And then if you're out and you have your pan or something that you want to cook on, something a lot larger, you can take your saucepan or whatever you have, and it will sit on here and you can do the same thing. So you can see the versatility this item allows you to have in such a small package and such a amount of negligible weight that you would have in actually being able to use this. And this is actually the wind guard that will come with it, to where whatever direction the wind is blowing, you can set this up to keep the wind from blowing out your fire. This is the cross-fed wood system that we just talked about in the picture. You can stick your wood in here or in here and cross-feed your fire. Of course, you have your ventilation holes to allow oxygen to come in to keep your fire burning until you no longer need it. And that's, basically how it works. Now, like I said, the only primary, this is the titanium version that I got. It comes in stainless steel. And like I said, I bought this a few years ago on Amazon. And so this is like one of the top stoves out. And I don't know if some of you may already have some type of collapsible camping stoves, but again, this is one piece. It's not a puzzle. You don't have to slide the sides together, take the slides apart. And some of those other stoves, wood burning stoves, they actually have sharp edges. So once you're trying to put it together, you can easily cut yourself if you're not paying attention. But this just offers you, anybody can open it up, and then, so you see how easy it is. Now it is small, of course, but with that small size, they've compensated by allowing you, like I said, a variety of uses with that. So this is one of the things that I think that is very useful and has been useful to me in reference to being able to just throw it anywhere in my pocket or in my bag and not worry about it weighing me down, or not worry about trying to carry a regular stove or some type of burner that's going to weigh 100 times more than this. So even if you already have a burner, this can serve as your backup. If your primary source that you would use to boil your water or to cook or whatever you were doing in a time of emergency, which you may need, you can actually have this. So this is called the Firebox Camping Stove Nano. This is the box that comes in once you order it. You can, like I said, I went on Amazon. They were sold out on Amazon for a while, but you can go on their website. And just to be honest, like I said, I checked a couple of days ago. If you're even thinking about getting one of these, they're actually on sale now on the website. So they're no longer $90. I think they got marked down to like $60 and some change. So you'd be saving like $30. I paid $80 for this. So if you're considering getting one, right now, you need to do your research, go on the website, check out some other YouTube videos, see if it's something that will work for you and your family, or if you're single by yourself, this will definitely work for you. Again, one of the primary things you always want to keep into consideration when you have your bug out bag is weight. And this virtually eliminates that, but it allows you to do many things that other items 2 and 3 times its size that you can do. So yeah, so if you can get your hands on one right now, it's one of the top items now for that survivalist use. and it's called the Firebox Nano. So if you want to think about it, get your hands on it. I don't have any complaints. Like I said, the only disadvantages was actually the price, but just so happens to be that the price has been dropped down on the website, and they're still available. So why you can't, we don't know. While we still have buying power to buy and sell to what we can do, if you're thinking about something that you would need something like this, now will be the time to get it. And don't wait on it. And if you don't have this, make sure you have some way, some alternate form that if you need to boil water quickly, or if you need to cook food quickly, if you're on the move, on the run, that you have some other alternate way of doing this. But this is one of the top items that are used by survivalists. So it's called a Firebox Nano. So the next item that I want to well, let me so we don't have to backtrack. Should we go questions now or keep going and then try to come back, since there's more than one item to ask questions about? Can we take questions now about this and then move on? If anybody has any questions?
Brother Robinson, I would suggest that you continue with the presentation, and at the end, we can address the questions.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
All right. So the next item that I want to talk about is something that until recent events would have been viewed as an extreme item, and that item is a gas mask. When I first purchased my first gas mask, probably about almost a year and a half ago, close to a year ago, it was viewed as an extreme item. People like, what do you need that for? This is something that I'll never use. And then in Atlanta, we had that chemical fire. And then, the second situation that took place in Texas with that chemical fire. And it's kind of ironic that, people were wondering, hey, Monty, where did you get those gas masks from? And, I was people were asking me questions as to where to obtain one. And so I want to highlight, and I have some gas masks here that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you how to put it on. I'm going to show you the filters, the difference between the filters. And I want just to point that out. So, but just to start out, with the definition, what is the actual gas mask? A gas mask is used to protect the user from inhaling chemical agents and to prevent against contact with eyes. Let me zoom this in because I know it was kind of small. Some people couldn't see it. It says they can be effective against a wide range of substances, from ordinary dust and pollen to poisonous gases. So gas masks are important tools in situations like severe air pollution, which we are running into, which is becoming a problem. Riot control. Even now, when I read about this, the situation with this upcoming election, there's a possibility that there can be some civil unrest with the results of this election here in the United States. Natural fires, natural disasters, pandemics, and nuclear attacks. So, a few years ago, a lot of these things we probably would have been asked about, and our answer probably would have been, well, we'll probably never see that in our lifetime. We'll never be in a situation where that may affect us. But now in these last days, it's a reality that we can run into a situation where we may be exposed to one of these different scenarios, especially like pandemics. We've already gone through COVID. We don't know what's coming around the corner next, which may be a lot worse than COVID. And so even if you don't feel that you need one, it's better to have one, to think about getting one, than to not have one when you actually need it. So what are the advantages of having a gas mask right now? Of course, it's easy to use. It will reduce exposure to chemical and biological substances, and it's much more effective than a surgical mask, obviously. And another thing is, it's very easy to change the filters. So what are the difficult disadvantages? Disadvantages, of course, when you put anything that over your face, that it may be difficult to communicate. And gas masks run and range in different prices, high to low. You can find some, they can run you $800 a piece, and you can find some down to maybe $36 a piece. So they range in whatever your use is for them. Now, for those of us who wear glasses, of course, the front screen on most of the gas masks are not prescription. So there's an insert that I will show you in a second for those who wear glasses, that you can actually get your prescription put in, and what can actually fit inside your gas mask. And so, of course, the filters are the most important aspect of the gas mask. And we'll talk about that in a second. And another disadvantage is, of course, they require at least 19.5% worth of oxygen in the atmosphere to work. So if there's no oxygen in the atmosphere, you need oxygen to breathe. You know, it doesn't matter if you have a gas mask on or not, there's no air to breathe. So I'm going to leave this screen here, and I'm going to just do a demonstration here and show you the different type of gas masks that I have here that I want to show you. And the first one that I want to show you is this one. Now they come in two types. They have a 5-point and a 6-point. So this is your 5-point. And what I mean when I say 5-point and 6 points, this basically means your points of attachment from right here. You see here, and then you have 2 down here. And on this one, it has 6 points. You have 2 up here, 2 here, and 2 down here. Now, what is the difference between a 5-point and a 6-point gas mask? A 5-point gas mask is just designed basically for regular civilian use. And a 6-point gas mask is designed that if you have a helmet on, or if you're out in the field, battlefield, that it's designed to cover up your helmet, give you enough space to actually have a helmet on your head and actually wear the gas mask itself. So that's the difference between a 5-point and a 6-point. And what they've done now, is that they've designed gas masks that you can actually purchase if you're really into and really want one, that actually has a voice emitter to magnify your sound, your speech, when you're actually talking. If there's a group of you and everybody has on gas masks and there's one individual who's leading out, they could have one with an emitter on it to highlight their voice so that everybody in the group can hear them if everybody actually can't communicate. So that's what this one actually has on it. And another thing that they've designed is that they come with drinking straws. If you have a canteen, as you can see, this piece can come out. You have your canteen here, filled with water. This piece will go and it will fit inside the cap for your canteen, and you can actually drink without actually having to take your mask off. Now, I want to make things something clear about these gas masks also, is that they're not designed for super long-term use, meaning that if you have a gas mask and you're in a situation where you may need it, forest fire, chemical spill, biological contamination, these are designed to allow you to escape the environment, not go have a gas mask and put it on and go, relax in your house and just wear the gas mask all day. They're designed in order for you to escape. So, and I want to show you one more. This is a Czechoslovakian design. This is an older design that the military used. And it's just an exact copy of what the US government actually issued to their soldiers back in the late 80s and early 90s. And the thing about it, once the military invests something in a product, they design it to last for decades. So, this is also an option that you can get. And ironically enough, they actually come with a drinking straw aspect also. So the older military masks actually come with the drinking aspect. So you can just pull it out of here and then dip it into your canteen the same way. Now let me show you actually how, out of all 3 of the masks that I just showed you, this one is actually the cheapest. When I first bought this, I think I paid like $25 for it. And as you can see how inexpensive it is, I went back on Amazon to get another one. They were sold out. So, but they have other designs that you would do your own individual research and see if it actually fits your need. Now, the one unique thing about the cheaper out of all 3 is that it actually allows you to multifunction. Now, before I get to the main filters, I just want to show you another aspect of this. With this gas mask, when I bought it, it actually came with 2 filters. Now, say you're out on your country property or you need to paint something or something like that, you can actually take these 2 filters out and you screw this off and it actually fits on the side of here, on the side of your filter. If you're doing something regular painting, if you don't need anything against chemical or biological issues and you're just doing regular housework, you can actually take that piece off, like it just fell off, and then you can attach these to this like a regular mask. But the one other thing that this has on it is that here's where you actually attach your main filter if you were exposed to any type of biological or chemical substances that you don't want to inhale. And that's what I want to get into here with the color code on the filters. Let me show you, before I do that, let me show you the glasses insert for those of us as myself that I wear glasses. So I actually had to go through and invest in one of these. And this is what the actual insert for the gas mask would look like. So you would take this, you would go inside the mask, you would take your inserts with the arms and it was set inside of here and it will fit in. And then once it fits in, it'll sit forward like that. And so what you will have to do if you are serious about getting this and making sure that you can actually see. So what's the point of having a gas mask on if you wear glasses and you can't see? You know, that kind of defeats the purpose. So, you know, I had to go in and actually invest in one of these. And so you can go to your optometrist and get your prescription put in this actual extra piece if needed. And so that serves as your advantage also, because again, if you can't see, then what's the point, right? If you have a gas mask on. And well, let me show you real quick, actually, how to put it on. This is how they actually want you to, when you store it, they always want you to store. It's suggested that with your gas mask, when you actually store it, that you store it with the attachment that goes on the back of your head forward. So in any kind of rush situation where you have to put it on, you can just go in, put it on your face, and then pull this back and immediately go over and strap over your head. So if it's in the back, you can kind of be fumbling with it. The arms can be loose, whatever. But if it's wrapped forward, you can actually just take it and then slide it over your face. And let me put this on really quick and show you how it actually looks when you put it on. So you will have it on. And again, once it's pulled forward, but that's how you normally have it. You'll set it in, put it on, and you want to have a tight seal. Now, once you put it on, you tighten the straps and everything onto it. You want to make sure you have a tight seal. And in order for you to check the seal, make sure that your seal is tight, you would take your hands and put it over the exhaust nozzle, wherever the air will be least, the air will be exhaled. And if you can't breathe, then you know you have a tight seal. And the rubber is designed to go around and seal around your entire face. And so that's how you would actually put it on. Now, one of the only other main drawbacks with wearing any type of gas mask is that men, if you have a beard, if you have any sizable amount of facial hair, obviously you won't be able to get a tight seal on the bottom. And that's why, you know, in the military, a lot of times they keep their faces clean shaven just in case, you know, they're in a situation where they have to do this. So if you, again, a lot of facial hair, you either going to make a decision to either shave it off or just don't wear a gas mask at all, because if you try to put this on with a beard, you will not be able to get a tight seal. And then what's the point of wearing it at that point in time anyway? So that's something that you will have to also take into consideration when you thinking about actually obtaining a gas mask and keeping it on ready. So for me, you know, just in general, you know, I would keep one in the car, keep one in the house. Again, $36. You know, they're not that expensive. This one was cheaper, but of course the price went up. Like I said, I think I paid a little bit over $20 for another one, and now this one is 36. So the price is going up. This actual one that I have here was actually sold out, and so you may be able to find something similar to it. But this is what people are actually buying now. With, like I said, with all the calamities and everything that else is going on, these things are starting to become hot commodities. They were looked at as an extreme item a few years ago, but now people are investing and make sure as part of their survival gear that they actually have one of these in them for their families. Now let's get into the filters. As you see on the screen, let me see if I can zoom this in. The filters go by color codes, and let me show you what the actual filters look like. I have 3 here. Here's one. Here's another one. And here's the third one. Now, when you're investing in your filter, you want to make sure that you're actually buying one that will actually fit the need of what you actually want. What type of environment? Do you want it just biological? Do you want it just chemical? Do you want it just for painting? What do you want it for? So you will have to make a decision. And the way that you actually can tell which filter fits your criteria is by the color code here. And if you can see this, it has 4 different colors on it. It has brown, gray, yellow, green, and white. So if you look at this chart that I have here, it tells you what each color actually means. So brown, if we scoot over, it says contaminants protected against organic gases and vapors with a boiling point of under 65 degrees Celsius. And also organic vapors, organic gas and vapors with a boiling point over 65 degrees. And so example of applications, again, it'll handle acetone, solvents, paints, glues, just the normal stuff that you have in society. So now the gray corresponding letter is B. And it says it protects you against inorganic gases and vapors, chlorine, hydrogen sulfide, and hydrogen cyanide, which can be poisonous. So when you get your filter, it has to make sure that it has a gray color on it, which will indicate what it can protect you against. Yellow, it protects you against contaminants, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen chloride, and cleaning with certain acids. So that tells you what the yellow actually means. It's on here. Green, it says it protects you against ammonia and ammonia derivatives. So if you're actually out doing certain things where there's a lot of ammonia that you may have exposure to, it'll protect you from that. And then we're talking about white, which is at the bottom. And this is probably one of the most important aspects when you get it, to protect you against certain particles such as bacteria, cutting, drilling, grinding, any kind of biological aspects that you want to make sure that actually has a white on it too, so to actually protect you. So this filter I have right here is one of the more universal filters that I have out of all the ones that I have. So and how they're designed, you would take this off. You take the top screw of this off. You have your gas mask, and a lot of them are already set up to where you can just put your filter in here, screw it on, and go from there. So the question comes up, how, and then also once you do put it on there, want to activate it, you're actually going to pull this bottom lip off. All of them mostly have like a bottom lip. Like you may not be able to see this one actually sealed inside of here, but there's also another piece where you can actually pull that bottom lip off to activate your filter. So when you get it, don't just take it and then pull that off, because once you pull that off, it's activated. So leave this sealed until you're ready to use it. If you want to go out and practice and see how to use it, then of course you want to go out and do that, you can do that. But these are not cheap. They can range between $45 to $75 a piece. You can probably try and find some on sale on Amazon if you can get some on sale. But the most important thing is to make sure that whatever you design and whatever you want to use it for, that if you want to use it for, like I said, biological material, acetone, cyanide, whatever, make sure that when you purchase it, that it's actually designed for that. Now, I want to go over something else on here too. And like, for instance, this other one. So as you can see on here, this one's only brown and white. So if we go back and look at our chart, this is good for bacteria, any type of respiratory situations. And brown tells you it's good that you can use against solvents, painting, or whatever. So this one will be a little bit lower level than this. And once you cut open these, you'll see the inside it has charcoal filters. There's all these different specialized filters that are designed to protect you from inhaling anything that that may be toxic. Now, I want to talk about real quick the issue in reference to what these actual numbers mean on here. And I have the other one here. And this is a good example. You'll see a number on here if you actually get your filter. And this one has 1 on it. They go from 1 to 2 to 3. 1 being the most effective and 3 being the least effective. So this is one of the most effective ones that you can actually use. Now I have another example here. If you look at it, this one has PA2 on it. So this is a medium protectant. It's not a 1, it's not the best, but it's not the worst, it's not a 3. So these are all the things that you're going to look at when you if you actually get a chance to go into a store and get hands-on and look at it, or if you have to order it online. These are things that you want to think about before you make that purchase. If it actually, like, again, and I reiterate, meets the criteria that you want. So one of the most important things, again, is that you want to think about it. If you wear glasses and you decide on getting a gas mask, you will need the insert. If you don't wear glasses, it doesn't matter. This one has 2 cutouts for your eyes. This one has a full face, so it doesn't matter. You won't have to worry about the inserts. But when you're thinking about getting your gas mask, know that you're going to have to invest in a piece like this. Now they range. I bought this for $35 on eBay. If you go to some of the sites where they specialize in making gas masks, some of these will run $115 a piece. So if you take the cost of buying it plus the cost of taking it to your optometrist to get your prescription put in it, that can be an added expense. So you want to think about all of that too. So on eBay, I bought this for about $35. So I have that. So I have to go and I'm process to get my prescription put in these. So I want to show you really quick too. I didn't spend a lot of time on the military surplus gas mask. These filters are set up a little bit differently. They're designed, these are the filters. They're designed to do the exact same thing that the other filters do. But they're just a different setup and a different attachment point. Because with these, you actually have to take these, open it up on the inside, pull this back, there's a little lip in here that you actually have to pull back and then slide your filter in here that way. So this is a backup mask. I have the other 2 masks, and this is actually a backup. So I have primary, and then if I can't get hold of anything else, this will be my backup. And these are the filters. These are still available online. You can buy them. They're $12.99 a piece for 2 filters that will actually go in here that will actually work. Even though these are old surplus, these are actually still effective. And a lot of people are also purchasing these also if they don't want to take a heavy investment in buying something else, or the one that they actually want is sold out. They're using these as their backup gas masks and making sure they have enough filters. So the question is that can be asked, how long are these good for? Once you activate it, how long is it useful? When do you need to change it out? And the normal range of time goes between 8 to 12 hours, and that will be dependent on the environment you're in, how heavy you're breathing, like I said, atmospheric conditions, so or even the level of the contaminant that you're being exposed to. So when you invest in these, they can range between 8 to 12 hours a piece. So again, when you get a gas mask, it's not to stay in the danger environment. You're getting a gas mask to protect yourself as you're escaping from the environment that you're trying to escape from. Not to linger, not to figure out, go home if it's in your area where you live, to go home and figure out what's going on where. No, it's for you to escape, because these are not designed to be worn 24 hours without having to change it or do anything else. And another thing, since the price on these is they're like I said, they're in medium range. You can probably find some on sale, but what they're asking, or what they're suggesting that you do, is that each individual in your family is going to need at least 2 of these to themselves. So again, these will be an investment for you and your family if you decide to get that, even basing it on the time frame that it may take you to escape an event. So if it's good for 8 to 12 hours, if we go on the upper end of 12 hours, that if you have 2 of these, that'll give you a full day to escape any kind of situation you want to get out of. By within 24 hours, if you're in a dangerous environment, hopefully you would have been able to escape from that environment, and this will be able to protect you. The gas mask, of course, will aid you and protect you from inhaling anything that may cause you to get sick or may cause you to become debilitated in any way. So yeah, so those are those 2 things. And I just want to know, anybody got any questions about it? Those are the 2 things I wanted to highlight. I had a few others, but we could be here all day. I just wanted to highlight those 2 things and give enough time for people to ask questions. And this is another picture of what an actual insert for your gas mask would actually look like. And as you can see, they actually have the lenses in here, prescription lenses inside of those of that extra piece. Now, again, when you're if you get your gas mask and you're investing and you want to invest in one of these actual pieces for your glasses, make sure before you order it that it actually will fit inside your gas mask. Because a lot of these inserts are designed for specific gas masks. So if you can, you want to get one that's as universal as possible. So just take that into consideration before you invest to make sure it's actually going to fit the gas mask that you actually have, because you don't want to get it and waste your money or have to try and return it if you order it online and send it back and go through that whole process. So, yeah, so that's the 2 items that I wanted to talk to you about and to present to you. And one item in reference that you can use now in any type of emergency, well, use both of them in any type of emergency environment. But again, you know, the nano stove gives you a lot of options that you can use it for in a lot of different applications. And again, it's the issue of weight and size that is critical, because you don't want to have to be carrying a lot of items that can weigh you down. You want to be, if you had to flee, you want to be able to move as quickly as possible without having to worry about, you know, any of your items being too heavy that you can't carry it. So yeah, so I can open the floor now for any questions. If anybody has any questions about anything that I said.
Okay, Brother
Yes.
Robinson, thank you for opening the floor to any question. And the questions that accrue from this really wonderful presentation. It's quite a unique presentation based on your area of expertise and the knowledge that you are bringing to the platform here. Certainly in the Caribbean, now we are just a little microcosm, but when we look at the bigger world in the Americas and Europe, certainly we see now, you know, Ellen G. White said there's going to be a miasma in the air, and we are actually experiencing that miasma in the air, because I know even a couple of years ago, before COVID, areas in India like Nepal, you know, they would have to shut down schools and workplaces, some workplaces, because people just couldn't breathe. The air is so toxic, and much more now. So I really do appreciate this presentation. But you know, let me just ask from the chat. I'm seeing one question from Sister Marjorie. When you talked about the and the stove just blew my mind, because you know, to fold up a stove and have it in your pocket, it's quite ingenious. And she was asking, what is the brand name?
Oh, Firebox. Oh, is it backwards? It must be backwards on the screen. Yeah, Firebox camping stove. Firebox Nano camping stove. And I think I saw someone earlier say that they actually saw it on Amazon, I guess UK or something like that, that it's actually on there. But if all else fails, you can go. We can put the link in the chat. I can give you the link for it, and then people can actually just go from there and find it. But you may have to go to the website now. I know that I recently, like I said, I looked a couple of days ago on Amazon. They weren't on there. They weren't selling them anymore. So Yeah, you can always go to the manufacturer's website and they'll be on there. And
you.
then, and like I said, they're on sale right now. I don't know how long that sale is gonna last. When I looked at it, the sale was on now. So, take that into consideration. You pay $65 instead of paying $80 or $90 for it.
Yes, so we would really appreciate if the website will be put on. And, I am just saying, if you are part of a church, brethren can put up funds and together purchase one of these, at least one, just to see how it's working, just to get in just to know how to set this thing up quickly. You just don't want to buy it at the brink of something happening and you're fumbling with it. So
Right.
get these things early so that you are so familiar with it that it's like saying your timetables. So thank you for that. And we are inviting more questions from the platform, so you can either write your question on the chat or you can simply put up your hand and Brother Robinson will acknowledge you. You can even verbalize your questions here.
Sister Vanessa,
Okay.
T. Taylor has a hand up and Mr. Bethel.
How do I'm not the best with this. How do I answer the hands?
Just go ahead and unmute Sister Andrea and then T. Taylor.
Okay. Okay. Unmuted Andrea and unmute. Okay, I think I did it. All right.
Hi, a pleasant good evening to you.
Good evening.
This is Miss Bethel. I really love this presentation because I'm always thinking about things like this, but I believe that you answered the question when you said that you can put the link in the chat because, I'm really curious about, where you can find it. And then you also answered the question that I had about the name, the nano stove. So, but I really do think that this is an awesome presentation that you're doing because I believe that we are coming up on some really serious times. And even though we live in the Caribbean, I'm in the Bahamas, I'm beginning to see a whole lot of stuff that's happening that all of us are going to be affected. So thank you so very much for that.
Thank you. God bless. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. Concerning the gas mask, is that recommended for children under 1 year? Is there anything available for babies? Or does that
Good
work?
question. Good question. I was doing research to try to find gas masks that would actually fit children, and they are available, but they're very expensive. There is a website called Mira, a company called Mira, Mira. They actually make and Parcel. Parcel's the one that actually makes this gas mask with the voice emitter on it. They actually have a gas mask that's designed for children. And then if that monetary investment may not be what people are looking for now, they can always go into military surplus sites for instance, in Israel, they had during their battle time, of course, the government provided gas masks that will fit both adults and children. So you can actually go on to an Israeli surplus website and actually find gas masks that would actually fit children and see how much those run also. So they do have them. They're a little bit tougher to find. And on a normal website, like I just told you, between Parcel, Parcil, and Mira, Mira, they do have things that are designed, but the price is a lot different than what you would actually try and get for adults. But they are available.
Okay, thank you.
I can read out another question from the chat. SV is asking, what walkie-talkie can you recommend? Obviously, this is before we are in the secluded mountains. And she's explaining that during the hurricanes, cell phone towers were not working, but you want to keep in contact with your loved ones.
Right. Oh yeah, because we had talked about that. Yeah, you can go. There's a company called Baofeng. They have different actual models. But the one main thing you want to take into consideration is if right now, where it seems to be semi-peaceful, if you're thinking about getting a walkie-talkie, you want to also think about getting your license through the FCC. Because that will allow you, and I don't know particularly where you are or in different environments, but they have repeaters that are set up in these different areas that if you have your actual license and it is a GMRS or a ham radio, you can actually bounce your signal off and increase your signal strength. If you want to communicate with family that will be outside the normal range of, of a normal walkie-talkie use, like family radio service, FRS, you will be in a totally different, it would extend beyond that. Because normally with walkie-talkies, it's basically, if you have clear line of sight, you may get maybe 1.5 mile, maybe 2 miles max with a handheld. But if you have your, if it's set up with GMRS or ham radio, you can extend beyond that. So you want to look into maybe obtaining your license through a GMRS channel or GMRS network, which doesn't require a test. You can pay for that, get your GMRS license, and then the ham radio, which does require a written test, you can invest in that also, and just actually go from there. So Baofeng, Baofeng, GMRS. Make sure it says GMRS on which, and well, when you're looking at your radios, you want to decide if you want GMRS or if you want ham radio. So you will have to make that decision which one worked best for you. I went through the GMRS route because it was the easiest at first. I didn't have to take a written test, but I got my license. And then the secondary thing you would do, you will want to investigate to see if there are any GMRS groups within your area, because a lot of the repeaters that you're going to use for to bounce your signal on to maybe contact a family member that may be 10, 12 miles away, if that's your scenario, most of the repeaters are privately owned. So you would join that group, they would give you the frequency, and then you can actually use that frequency and program on your walkie-talkie to actually use a repeater to communicate that way also. But outside of that, they do have the regular, like I said, the regular family radios you can get from Walmart or any other store. But if you're going to invest in anything now in the times in which we live, you want to get something that's going to give you as much versatility as possible. And GMRS radio and ham radio are your best options now. And they're not that expensive on Amazon.
Thank you, Brother Robinson. Is there anyone with any more questions? Whether on the chat or whether you want to open your mic and ask a question now? Yes, the recording will be posted on the Table of Christ Health Ministries website. It's on YouTube as well. Okay, Brother Robinson, I think you have exhausted the topic on those two items that you have highlighted today. And I think it was very practical of you to... Oh, sorry. Before I continue, Judith is asking, do you have to buy gas for this nano stove?
No, you don't. That will be an option. It's the nano stove. You can either use, sometimes the burners that we use to heat up food, those they're designed to fit those, so you can have those. You can actually have a burner. I can go back to the picture where it actually shows an actually gas-fed burner that's actually being used. And or your very last option is that you can actually use wood. So that's what makes the nano stove so unique and why it's so popular, because you can use 3 different types of fuel sources to get done what you need to get done. And so it's not just wood, it's not just gas, it's not just the little alcohol burners, but you can use all 3. So if you don't have access to gas, you're fine. You got wood. You don't have access to wood, you got a burner, you can use that. So
that's better than our normal stoves at home.
Right. And again, just to reiterate, that's why they're so popular.
Yes, and Taylor, I don't know if the T is male or female, but Taylor is saying that, asking, is there going to be any additional sessions in the future? Because it's so interesting.
That's definitely a high possibility. Whenever you guys are ready, we can try and I thought about something real quick as we were talking as you were about to end. I can show you something very quick that may take about 5 seconds that you can also add. It's nothing super major, but I can show it to you very, very quickly if you want to see it as a bonus item that won't take up too much time.
Sure, Brother Robinson.
Okay, let me show you something real quick. I don't know, and this is something that a lot of people are familiar with. It's called paper soap. I don't know if you've seen these. If you're out in a wilderness environment and you don't, again, we're trying to cut down weight. We want to make things as easy to carry as possible. And so I want to make sure I'll open this back up to give you the name. But what these are, they're actually soap sheets. And they come in packets. And so they look exactly like this. You will have your water. You could dip it in your water if you're out in the woods. And once they get wet, they immediately turn into suds. And you can actually use them to wash your hands. If you're out and you don't have a bar of soap or if you don't have anything available, once you get them wet, they actually turn into soap. And you can actually, as a sanitary option, if you're out in the woods. And so one case here can carry, as 4 cent and 4-pack, 400 sheets. Now imagine how that is in comparison to 1 bar of soap. You can actually carry these and put these in your pocket also. So that's what these are. So they're made by a company. You can find these on Amazon. So you can, while you're out in the woods or anywhere like that, even if you can keep them in your car, going to a restaurant, you don't like the bathroom or whatever. You don't want to touch a soap dispenser in the bathroom. You could have some of these in your pocket and use these to actually wash your hands with it too, instead of even touching anything in the bathroom. And also what you will have, these things called, and I know a lot of you have seen these, called porta wipes. So they're designs, these are actually full-size paper towels. So all you got to do is dip them in water. They expand into a full-size paper towel. So again, parents with kids, you don't want to carry around, you got all these napkins and stuff in your car, or even as adults or with no children, you can have these in your glove compartment. They take up no space again. You want to put some into your to-go bag, have that in there, and no weight whatsoever. And you can carry 1 bag. These are bamboo. One by itself has 100 in there. 100. So, and when you actually purchase them, they come in a little travel case that you can actually put them in and keep them in for women, if you want to keep them in your pocketbook, guys, keep them in your pockets, and then of course, keep them in your backpack. So anybody going camping, you want to have some of these with you so you don't have to worry about carrying a roll of paper towels or carrying toilet paper and stuff in your car. These work a lot better than a paper towel and a piece of toilet paper. And so another thing, I don't have it right here in front of me, but they actually make them in the size of full-length body towels too. So they're about the size, they compress down to about the size of a hockey puck. You put water on it, and so then you can let it dry out if you need to dry off, or if you need to dry something with a large heavy mass, then you can use those towels for this. But that's what these are, and you can see they're not easy to rip. You got to really put a lot of strength into it to pull it apart. So they're very durable. And I have these everywhere I go. I have them in my car and in my bag also, just in case I'm out. And anytime I go camping, they're with me. So I don't pack paper towels. I don't pack toilet paper. These are just fine. And the thing about it, one of the advantages is that they're, of course, they're lightweight. They're hypoallergenic and they're plant-based. They're made out of plant cellulose. So there are no chemicals or anything in these. So so you can think about that too. And also they're biodegradable, so they don't harm the environment or anything like that once you throw them away. So, all of these things, living in this time in Asia we live in, technology has allowed us certain things that can aid us and that can help us. And so we need you to, again, just take advantage of it.
Brother Robertson, can I also add that Walmart has 400 of the soap sheets for $5.99? Well,
Yeah,
that's
get
here
them
in Pennsylvania.
and get them while you can, because when people actually catch on to it, they're going to go and they're going to clear those shelves out and they're going to be gone. So if you can have access to it without having to go through Amazon and wait, because again, we don't know what's going to happen within the next any time soon. We got the election coming up. We don't know if the mail's going to be shut down. We don't know what can happen. And so we all know that what generally happens in the United States touches the entire planet. So, get these things while you can, and invest in them. And even if you don't immediately need them, just pack them away in your to-go bag.
That has just generated another question from Sister Ruth Leanne, and this would be the last question for the evening. Which power supply or generator for portable use is recommended? Which power supply or generator for portable use is recommended?
They have a lot of generators, and normally there's a lot, because it depends if you're talking about a generator that you want to power your home, or you're talking about a generator that you want to be able to put in your car and carry with you, that you want to use in case you're stranded somewhere. So it kind of just depends on what your needs are. There are a lot of companies